Did you know Africa was home to some of the world's most advanced civilizations long before European contact? The myth of the Dark Continent has been used for centuries to erase Africa's contributions to global history. Let's set the record straight. The kingdom of Kerma in present-day Sudan flourished between 2500 BCE and 1500 BCE, featuring organized city planning and monumental mud brick temples known as Defufa. This civilization was just the beginning. The Kushite kingdom, ruling Egypt as the 25th dynasty from 747 BCE to 656 BCE, showcased Africa's political and military prowess. Pharaoh Tahaka, a Kushite ruler, left an indelible mark on history. Moving forward, the kingdom of Meroe, flourishing from 300 BCE to 350 CE, became a powerhouse of iron production, rivaling any industrial force of its time. Fast forward to the 14th century, and Timbuktu in the Mali Empire emerged as a global intellectual center. Home to the Sankore Madrasa and over 400,000 manuscripts, Timbuktu was a beacon of knowledge. Mansa Musa, the Mali Empire's ruler, displayed such immense wealth during his 1324 pilgrimage to Cairo that he devalued gold in the region for a decade. These facts alone dismantle the myth that Africa had no civilization or history before European contact. But the myths don't stop there. Another pervasive myth claims that slavery systematically destroyed the Afro-American family structure. However, Herbert Gottman's groundbreaking 1976 book, The Black Family in Slavery and Freedom, proved that black families maintained stability despite extreme stress. Slavery began in the Spanish colonies in 1502, and by 1619, African slaves arrived in Virginia. The U.S. banned the external slave trade in 1808, but it wasn't until 1838 that British slavery truly ended, following a deceptive apprenticeship period. Haiti became the first nation to abolish slavery in 1804 after a heroic 13-year revolution. Families endured, adapted, and survived, defying the myth of their destruction. Now, let's tackle the myths surrounding the Underground Railroad. One popular tale claims that slaves stitched secret coded directions into codes to guide freedom seekers. Another story speaks of the whistle walk, a ritual where slaves in detached kitchens signaled escape. However, historians have found no evidence to support these narratives. Ellen McAllister Clark, the Mount Vernon librarian, debunked the story of Jocko Graves, a boy who supposedly froze to death holding George Washington's horses. No record of Graves or a jockey statue exists in Mount Vernon's inventories. These myths, while romanticized, overshadow the real heroes and mechanics of the Underground Railroad. Another myth claims that Africa had no history because it lacked writing until the 19th century. This is entirely false. African history is reconstructed through writing, oral tradition, and linguistic evidence. Egypt developed writing around 3200 BC, and Nubia used writing independently. Oral traditions recorded significant events for centuries, preserving Africa's rich history. Lesser-known details further enrich our understanding. Did you know that nearly 25% of the slaves in the Carolinas in 1730 were Native Americans? Millions of Native Americans were enslaved, particularly in South America. When Britain abolished slavery in 1833, enslaved people were forced to work as unpaid apprentices for 6 to 12 years, delaying actual freedom until 1838. Most house slaves were women, enduring distinct and severe abuse. Many enslaved men were artisans, blacksmiths, tanners, and craftsmen holding specialized roles that contradict the brute labor stereotype. African linguistic impact is profound, with words like gumbo, yams, and banjo entering the English language. African musical traditions revolutionized American music, influencing blues, jazz, and rock. Debunking these myths has profound historical significance. Restoring Africa's dignity proves that pre-colonial Africa was a mosaic of sophisticated societies, thriving economies, and intellectual centers. This correction exposes the moral bankruptcy of colonial erasure. Gottman's work redefined the black family as resilient, influencing policy and social work. Accurate narratives about the Underground Railroad honor the real heroes and mechanics of freedom-seeking. Modern Africa continues to draw strength from its ancient civilizations. African culture flavors global culture, from music to language. The recognition of ancient African civilizations strengthens national identity and counters narratives of underdevelopment. Historical trade networks of the Mali Empire and Timbuktu inspire modern economic integration and intellectual exchange. The Haitian Revolution remains a symbol of anti-colonial resistance, inspiring modern movements for sovereignty. Controversies and suppressed histories persist. The history of Native American slavery is often overshadowed by the African slavery narrative. The deceptive apprenticeship period following British abolition in 1833 is glossed over. Herbert Gottman's findings were initially controversial, requiring a paradigm shift in sociological understanding. These truths demand acknowledgement and reflection. Africa's history is rich, complex, and profoundly influential. Debunking myths restores dignity, corrects historical inaccuracies, and honors the resilience of African and Afro-American communities. Let's continue to uncover the truths and celebrate the contributions that have shaped our world.